It's time for the Brown Sports Bag on WCLU, the official local sports show here in Glasgow and Barron County. And now, alongside John Butler, here is your host, James Brown.
Welcome back to the Brown Sports Bag, presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. Again, this week, I'm James Brown here with John Butler, and we've got a lot to talk about today. I accidentally cut last week's show a little short, so we got the full hour today, John, the full hour.
Well, we'll need it. There's a lot to talk about this week.
Yeah, and we're going to start out with the baseball side of things because we have a district game coming up here on 103.1 with Joe Myers on the call at 5:15, and that's Glasgow against Barron County. And as things stand right now, I could not tell you if there is a favorite team in the 15th district. I think each team might have a pitcher that can win a first-round district game, and I'm sure we might see all of them. And maybe I would say Barron has more pitching depth than Glasgow or Warren East or Allen County Scottsville, just in terms of the number of guys they can put out there. But in a one-game situation, Glasgow has Carter Hodges and then Vincent over at Warren East, and I think it's at Tao at Allen County. I mean, each other team has a guy who can win that first-round game. So these games today are important, today and tomorrow, between Glasgow and Barron County, because it'll affect the seeding. But in this particular district this year, I'm not sure that it's ever been closer in that first-round game.
No, it's exactly right. I mean, it seems like all four teams are extremely even. The separator is that the ace for Warren East is the Vincent kid is really, really good. Obviously, He shut out Glasgow last week 1-0. We'll talk about that here in a second. And his ERA is really, really low. I mean, he throws it in the high 80s, and he's a whoever plays the first round, you're going to have to beat him.
Right.
But everybody has a good pitcher. I mean, Carter Hodges is throwing it extremely well. Throws up in the 80s as well and so forth. I mean, he's a tough out. Barron's got, Potter and Crawford and Allen's got the good pitcher too. So, the teams are. Baseball is, you can have a good team, but it's sometimes it's who's on the mound or who you're facing that really kind of evens things up. And, And in high school baseball in Kentucky, you're not when it gets to the tournament time, you're not playing a series. You're not trying to see who the best team is over a 3 or a 5-game series. It's whoever's better on that day and whoever's on the mound, and you can set your pitching for the district tournament.
Right.
I mean, and you're going to always throw your ace the first round. I mean, why you would not, I have no idea. I mean, you have to get to the region, and you can't be saving anybody. So whoever plays who's going to face everybody's number one for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, these games are important in terms of it will matter the seeding, but I'm not sure how much that seeding matters this year. The last 3 years, it's been pretty clear there's been a number 4 team in this district.
Right.
And that was Allen County.
I don't think I'd want to play Warren East the first round.
No, when I saw them last week, they swept the series with Glasgow last week. As you mentioned, they won the game 1-0 with Vincent on the mound and Hodges pitching for Glasgow. And Hodges hit his pitch count, and then he came out. And he had gotten there because he had a little bit of control issues earlier in the game. And then that's when, when the closer came in, that's when Warren East managed to score their run. But also, when I watched them play last week, I thought they look like the team that's probably playing best right now, consistently best, even though their record wouldn't suggest it, but that's probably because their schedule's been so strong.
And Vincent had missed some time this year too. He did not pitch early in the year.
Yeah.
So he's back. But, it's the Glasgow-Warren East game. Glasgow's now 15-14, but they're most importantly for our discussion, they're 1-3 in the district.
Yeah.
Barron is 2-2 in the district. Allen, I think, is
2-2.
2-2, and Warren East would be
3-1.
3-1. That's so. It could still finish. Anybody 1 through 4 is still up in the air right now.
Could be 3-3 across the board.
That's exactly right. So you don't really know right now. But in the Glasgow game against Warren East, the 1-0 loss last week, that's Carter Hodges and Vincent, they went head to head. Vincent went the entire game.
Yeah.
And Warren East scored 1 run in the 7th for the victory. Hodges, the problem that he ran into, he walked too many people.
Yeah.
He went 5 2/3, so that puts him in the bottom of the 6. But he only allowed 2 hits. He struck out 11, which is awesome, but he walked 7, so he got to the pitch limit.
Yeah.
And once you hit the pitch limit in high school baseball in Kentucky, you got to come out. And that's when Warren East scored in the bottom of the 7th. So, and scored off 2 errors too, by the way.
Yeah.
So it's that's one of those games. And then the next day, or I think it was the next day, Warren East beat Glasgow 6-3, which is a lot of runs for Warren East. They normally don't score a lot. I think Keaton Haynes started that game.
Yeah.
At the end of the week, Glasgow finished off Monroe 13-4.
Yeah. In that second game, as you mentioned, they ended up playing back-to-back days, but it was Wednesday, Thursday instead of being Monday, Tuesday because of the weather last week. But in those 2 games, in the second game, they kind of opened the way that they closed the first one. They had a couple of errors in the first couple of innings and gave up 3 runs. Then the game kind of settled down and finished up 6-3. And again, that's 2 games in a row where the defense actually kind of let down a little bit. They just made some mistakes, and they didn't generate the runs they needed to. But, I mean, the first day was because of the pitcher they were facing. The second day, I'm not exactly sure what was happening on the offensive side. They also had a couple of, I think, base running errors in that game that it could have been a completely different game. So they needed to clean things up coming into this week, and of course they did play much better against Monroe at the close of the week. But Monroe's not as good as Warren East.
No. And Barron, on the other hand, Barron's 15-11. They're 2-2 in the district. They split with Allen County. They got the first win 6-2.
Yeah, on Monday,
and then came back in I think on Wednesday, maybe
Thursday.
They lost to Allen 3-1 in 8 innings.
Yeah,
I think Potter pitched the first game. Is that right?
Yes.
Crawford pitched the second game.
Yeah.
And that was a tough loss. 3-1 in 8 innings. Gave up 2 runs in the 8th. I think Crawford went the entire. He went all 8. But if Barron could have won, they would have stayed away from Warren East.
Yeah.
They would have put Barron 3-1 and East 3-1, and don't think they would be able to play each other.
No.
So right now, anything is in play for, just you draw out any scenario that you want to, and it could come out anyway.
Yeah.
But Barron split with a very, I think you could say, pesky Allen County team.
The pesky's an excellent description for them.
Yeah, the perception is that Allen may be the worst team in the district, but if they are, they're not. There's not a great separator between 1 and 4.
Yeah.
Barron went on to beat Cumberland 11-3, and then in a shootout on Saturday they beat Clinton 18-12.
Right.
And I'm guessing the reasons why those scores were so high on Friday, Saturday is that with Glasgow coming up on Monday, Tuesday, you're saving some of your pitchers too. Yeah,
a lot of people probably got some work that don't generally get the work in that rotation in those couple of games. We're talking about the Barron Glasgow matchup today, but also, of course, Warren East and Allen are playing today and tomorrow. And so that's why, talking about it could still work out 3-3 for everybody. And pesky is a great description for Allen because I don't know, they don't score a lot of runs.
No.
But they also don't give up many runs. They're kind of like Glasgow was last year. You look at them and you're thinking to yourself, their average runs per game given up is pretty low overall. And I'm not exactly sure how they get there because the pitching isn't dominant. It's good enough.
Right, good enough. And obviously they must – I haven't seen them play, so they must defend pretty well.
Yeah.
And, their pitching gives them a chance to win these games.
Yeah.
There's just not a great separator between the 4 teams except sometimes who's on the hill.
Right.
And that's if you got a really, really good starting pitcher, that makes you really dangerous for one game.
Yeah, it does.
And that's all you need in the district.
Yeah.
Now, region's different. You got to have 3.
Yeah.
But to get out of the district in a 4-team district,
Yeah.
Not a 5-team. In a 14 district, just got to win that first game.
You know, talking about a 5-team district, the 16th district is awfully odd this year because Russell County has dominated that district since they came in 2006. I think they had won it over 20 years. I think they had won it 18 times or something like that, 17 times in 20 seasons since they came in that district. They are not having a very good year for them, for certain. And they're not even – I think they might be the 4 seed in that district this year.
That's unusual.
Yeah. I mean, that's how good they've been. And so it's kind of a toss-up. I mean, you have Clinton and Monroe and Cumberland, I think, all still have – maybe Clinton and Monroe could still be the 1 or the 3. I think Cumberland's locked in at the 2 and Metcalf's at the 5. And so we have a possibility this year in the region, depending on how things shake out, to see 2 teams from the 16th district. That does not include Russell County as one of those 2 teams.
Yeah, that's a rarity.
Yeah, it is. And then in the 14th, of course, you basically have a 3-team race right there.
3 teams, Bowling Green, South Warren, and Greenwood.
Yeah. And I guess it's still Logan and Franklin Simpson in the 13th district. I don't think Russellville or Todd Central are bumping them out. So it's going to be the usual folks, the usual suspects probably from that district. Anything else on the baseball front that stood out to you last week?
No, I mean,
or the games coming up this week?
Again, you got great weather today for sure. I think there's a rain chance tomorrow. Of course, Wednesday's the backup.
Yeah.
But for those who don't know, district tournament starts on May 18th, 2 weeks from today.
Yep, that's right, over at Warren East. And as it is, from what I was told this morning, what they're going to do is they're going to go ahead and play 2 baseball games on the Monday and play the championship on the Tuesday. So on election night, there'll be a championship game, and they're going to do the same for the softball that's playing right now. And so we'll keep you folks informed how we're going to handle all of that broadcasting, because we're going to carry election night coverage, obviously, on May 19th, which is a Tuesday, the primary night. And we could have teams playing in 2 different championships on that night, too. Okay. So we'll let you know how we're going to take care of all that. All right, this is Brown Sports Bag presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. We'll be right back.
Welcome home to Local Sports with James Brown and the Brown Sports Bag on WCLU.
We mentioned the baseball district situation. Now we're going to talk about the softball district situation in 15th District. James Brown, John Butler, Brown Sports Bag presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. Needless to say, the Glasgow Lady Scotties had a pretty good week last week as far as the district games. Now, they went 2-2 on the week. They probably should have beaten Russellville to start the week, but they didn't. They made up for that by beating Barron for the first time in a decade the next day, 2-0. Then they played competitively against Allen County 4-2, and Allen's been clearly the best team in the district this year. And so it was a good overall run for them last week. And
then beat Green.
Yeah, and then beat Green 4-2. So I mean, it was they went
2-2.
2-2. And I'll be honest with you, the pitching, they have 2 young pitchers, Kerrigan Hagan and Ava Maxey. They both pitched well in those 3 games.
Yeah.
Outside of they didn't pitch poorly against Russellville. They made some mistakes in an inning and gave up basically 8 runs in an inning is what happened there. The defense made some mistakes, but the defense played clean over those other 3 games, and that's why they kind of have shown they are a competitive team.
No question about it.
Completely different.
They're 8-11, and if you look at their schedule the next 2 weeks, I wouldn't be surprised they'll end the season, the regular season, with a winning record. They've got a real good chance to do that.
Yeah. So
they, I think the biggest improvement for Glasgow this year. Now, listen, they were on track to improve because they were so young.
Yeah.
And you had Coach Murphy to the fold. I think he's been a big boost for them.
Yep.
But it's the 2 pitchers. Their pitching is what's the huge difference from last year.
Yeah.
Kerrigan Hagan, who got a ton of experience last year. She's just a freshman. And now Ava Maxey, who's an 8th grader, and they basically kind of split.
Yep.
One pitches one game and the other pitches another one, and those two girls have done a really, really good job. And if you just look at from the beginning of the year to right now, how much more effective they are. It didn't surprise me that Glasgow beat Barron. That's the first win against Barron in 10 years. It's a long time to go against your rival.
Right.
But what surprised me is that Barron didn't score.
Yes.
I mean, 2-0 is what surprised me, and because Barron has score about against almost everybody, so that really, really surprised me. And you got to give Hagan a lot of credit. She went the distance. She only allowed 3 hits. Not a lot of hard hit balls either. If you watch the game, she struck out 7, which is a high number. And they only needed, they end up getting a late kind of tack-on run at the end, but they, the homer by Chicali Green in the third, I believe, was the difference of the game.
Yeah.
And I think that gives her 8 or 9.
I think that was her 8th, and she may have had another one later in the week.
Had a super year. So that was a huge win. I mean, to break that, and I think they've convinced, even last year they took, in the district tournament they only lost a 1 to Barron, but it wasn't 2-0. It wasn't 2-1. It was like 9-8 or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think their confidence has grown as the year has gone on, and they're a very dangerous team. They backed that 2-0 win up with a 4-2 loss to Allen just 2 days later.
Yeah.
Which is Ava Maxey went that game, and she allowed 9 hits and struck out 5 against a high-scoring Allen County team. So Glasgow is playing their best ball right now.
Yep.
And you got to give them, a lot of credit.
Yeah, they going back to that Barron game, I think one of the things that stood out to me, like you said, Barron is usually a very effective hitting team. Adley Cunningham had the only hit in the game that cleared the infield. It was a double, left field fence. And then I think Hagan struck out maybe the next 2 batters or maybe the next batter, and then it was a fly out or something like that. So, I mean, it didn't – in the past, a hit like that probably would have been the turning point in the game between these two teams. Glasgow might have played competitively, but there would be a big play or a big hit, and you could tell the body language would change. That didn't affect them. They came right back and just kept on playing what they were capable of doing. And to be honest with you, I think maybe the Barron players were a little bit surprised by the fact that they were never able to get on top of Glasgow emotionally. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's understandable in one sense. It's not in the other sense. Where it's understandable, when you hadn't lost somebody in 10 years.
Yeah.
And a lot of those years has been pretty dominant.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, just Barron, just the same players for the most part, just beat Glasgow by 1 in the district last year.
Yeah.
And if you just kind of kept up, not all players keep up with what's going on. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
You should know that they were in a precarious spot going against Glasgow, and Glasgow jumped ahead, and this time they stayed ahead.
Yeah. Meanwhile, coming into last week, I really thought Barron had turned the corner, and they did. Look, they turned around the next day and beat Taylor County like they stole something from them. They beat them 14-1.
Yeah.
So whatever speech Coach Darryl Murphy gave to his players and whatever they worked on, it certainly worked against Taylor County the next day.
Yeah, Barron only played twice last week. They're 9-6, 2-3 in the district. They lost to Glasgow. We talked about, but I don't think the 5th region is real good this year in softball. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
They're traditionally have good teams, but I think they're a little down. But Taylor is one of their better teams.
Right.
They're 17-6, and let me just throw this at you. Taylor had won 10 straight before Barron run ruled them.
Yes.
So it is. You kind of scratch your head on that one. Were they motivated after losing to Glasgow? A little angry, possibly. Norris Shirley was 4 for 4, 5 RBIs, and 2 home runs. And Barron had 17 hits. So they get shut out by Glasgow, and then get 17 hits and beat a team that won 10 in a row.
Yeah.
It's a little odd, but Barron is, like I said, 9-6, 2-3 in the district. Glasgow is 1-4 in the district.
Yep.
Allen has wrapped up the district. They've not lost.
Right.
Yet. No, I think they're 5. Are they 5-0?
I believe they're 5-0. I think East has a game against each of the teams once.
Okay. All right.
So they play Glasgow today. They play Barron on Thursday, and I think they play Allen maybe next Monday or something
Allen
like that.
is going to be the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
There is a possibility that Barron, East, and Glasgow could all be 2-4.
Right.
Barron can stay away from Allen if they beat Warren East up this week.
Yeah.
Or next week, whenever they're playing.
It's Thursday. They play Warren East Thursday.
And Glasgow can stay out of the basement.
Is it Thursday?
I don't know. And Glasgow can stay out of the basement. Glasgow's 1-4.
Uh-huh.
If they lose to Warren East, they're going to be playing Allen.
Yeah, they'll be the 5 seed.
Right, but if they beat Warren East, that opens up a whole new can of worms.
Yeah. Let me double check this real quick. They play. Barron and Warren East play Thursday.
Okay.
And then I think Warren East turns around and plays Allen again next week, I believe it is. Let's look real quick. Actually, here's what Warren East has this week. They're playing Glasgow today, Allen tomorrow, and Barron on Thursday. So they have 3 district games this week.
Okay.
And so we will definitely know by the time we get done with Thursday night how this district's going to shape up, at least in terms of what people's records are going to be.
That's right.
But going back to what you said, in one way, Warren East controls their own destiny to stay out of the 4 spot. But they are also in a position where they could wind up in the 4 spot because, if Glasgow plays like they did last week and Barron plays like they did against Taylor County, I'd say they both looked better than Warren East has recently in those situations. Glasgow still isn't putting up a bunch of runs, but their pitching has been good enough and their defense has been good enough. As long as they don't make any errors, they proved last week they can do that.
It's similar to the baseball. I think all 4 teams can beat each other. Even Allen looks like the best team, but they trailed Barron.
Yeah.
They had to hit 2 2-run homers to come back and beat Barron last time.
Yeah.
They only beat Glasgow 4-2, so the margin. It's not like they're run reeling people.
They're not South Warren.
Right. I think most, if you ask the other 3 teams, they would prefer to probably stay away from Allen.
Yeah.
But it's not a huge gap.
Yeah. No, I think this year in both softball and baseball, we have some pretty interesting district tournaments coming up. They could be some really good games.
On the side note, South Warren is still undefeated.
Uh-huh.
They are, I think they're 30-0 or 31-0. However, you're only allowed to play 36 games in regular season, so they've just had a trickle of games left these last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So, that would. It's not ideal. You kind of want to play going into the tournament, especially for hitting and so forth. But they have yet to be they're going to go into the postseason undefeated. I'm quite confident of that.
Yeah.
But they're not going to play a lot of games.
I think they ended up, was it last week they beat Greenwood? Was it 6-1? Was that the final?
I think that's right.
That's Greenwood. I don't think Greenwood can beat them, but Greenwood is a program that has the confidence, and they have a good pitcher.
Yeah, they don't fear them.
Yeah. Those games could be closer than people would expect because of that familiarity.
Right.
But then again, you would think, despite how good South Warren is, they have to have hit a point where they're a little bit bored.
I agree.
I would think.
And what I would be worried about with them is that I think they may have a couple of decent games coming up, but nothing earth-shattering. Their first round of the district, they're not going to get. Warren Central is.
Yeah.
That's a run rule.
I wouldn't be surprised if they don't just forfeit the game.
They'll probably win the district. Then you're going to sit out another week, and then the region. I don't know if they're going to get tested much in the region. So
right.
Whenever they get to the state tournament, they may go 3 or 4 weeks without a big challenge, and that would be a little worrisome.
Yeah.
But,
hard to do that.
Yeah.
Anything else on the high school softball thing that you can think of?
No. It's like I said, same situation. District tournament starts in 2 weeks from today.
Yep. All right. It's Brown Sports Bag presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. We'll be right back.
Welcome home to Local Sports with James Brown and the Brown Sports Bag on WCLU.
Welcome back to the Brown Sports Bag presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. James Brown, John Butler. We're gonna take a tour down one of John Butler's favorite events. After maybe watching the Masters on TV, you like the Kentucky Derby a lot.
Yeah, I love it. Evidently, a lot of people do. They set a ratings record on NBC, 19.1 million.
Yeah.
Just in comparison, that's ahead of all the NBA playoff games and.
Well,
that's well. I'm just saying year in year. World Series actually. That's ahead of almost.
I
maybe
think
the men's Final Four. Maybe ahead of Super Bowl is obviously the most watched event. But That's a huge number. And the night before, they moved the Oaks, which is basically the Kentucky Derby for the fillies. They moved that to prime time. That ran for the first time under the lights, and that was the most watched for that race ever on NBC. So, yeah, I mean, it was they had great weather, except it was cool.
Yeah,
but dry and so forth. And yeah, it was fun to watch.
I think those, as you were just talking about it, I thought about the Super Bowl, and maybe those one-off events are becoming bigger draws than like the multi-thing events. So what I mean is the Super Bowl obviously is a big event, and they do a lot of lead up to it. But I'm a little fascinated by the fact that the Kentucky Derby is becoming maybe at that same type of, one-time event.
It's on NBC all day too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they've got the program all day. 19.1 million is a huge number.
Yeah.
In broadcasting.
So, I mean, if you have – I mean, the thing about the NBA playoffs is –
they may get 2 million.
Yeah, and also historically speaking, even when people love the NBA, historically speaking, they don't really watch the games unless it's a Game 7.
Right.
Because it's almost like a one-off event.
Well, they had 2 yesterday, and they didn't draw that number.
Well, sometimes the teams themselves aren't very attractive.
Right. But anyway, the Derby, I mean, it was a long shot that won, 25-1 shot. Horse's name was Golden Tempo, trained the other, the story, especially in the national news, is the first female trainer to win the Derby, Cherie DeVoe. And if you're not familiar with the game, that's obviously a big number, but I mean a big deal. First female trainer to win, though she's top 10, top 15 in the country in training. I mean, she's really good. It's not like she's got a 2-horse deal. She's got over 100 horses in training, so she's got a lot of good horses, and she's won some big races. However, this was her first Derby horse, and it won. But if you follow the game, it's not surprising that she won. But it's still a big deal, for in a male-dominated sport. And she was the only female that had a horse in a Derby. There's 20 horses, and she was the only one that had one to win. But it was kind of fairly easy, predictable that someday you kind of see that she's probably going to get one because she's got a lot of good horses and so forth.
Yeah, also, how her horse won adds probably to
it's just
the
fun.
whole.
I mean, it's just kind of neat. I mean, people like these deep closers. It's just exciting for that to happen. And the horses that ran 1, 2, 3 came from way out of it. The horse that ended up being the favorite, Renegade, came in second. And of course, the other interesting story about it is the winner of the race, the jockey Jose Ortiz. His brother was on the second place horse, Irad Ortiz. They're both brothers and both top 5 riders in the country. And it's the first Derby for him. He also won on the Oaks the night before.
Wow.
So he had a great weekend, to say the least. But, it was a deep closer. And sometimes those closers that come from 15, 18 lengths off, the only way that works is if the pace of the race is so fast, those horses up front kind of tire themselves out, and you swoop by them, and that's exactly what happened. It was a fast pace. A lot of horses were way out there kind of gunning it, and both those other 2 horses, they got great trips. You can come from behind, but you don't want to come from behind and get blocked or stopped or whatever because you got to pass so many. Yeah. And they both found the right trip. The winner was way out in the middle of the track. He wasn't going to get stopped because he could almost get a hot dog. He was close to the stands, but those deep closers are the most fun to watch because they're just swooping in from behind. If you can go to the track meet and ever watch somebody come from behind and run somebody down, that's kind of neat to watch too.
I think also what you just mentioned about the taking the wide angle there for the close is a little bit fascinating because a lot of times you don't really see that. You might see somebody get out on the outside, but they can't really finish out because they've taken maybe such a wide path trying to get to that lead spot.
You lose when you go wide. You're giving up yardage.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's the best path to go.
Yeah.
Because you got to go around when you're last of a 20-horse field or 19th, and there's a lot of horses you got to pass.
Yeah. So what is the part about the Kentucky Derby that you love so much?
I mean, I like horse racing in general.
Okay.
So it's really not. I mean, you got the best horses in the world. See, it's not just that race. There's 12 other races that day, and there's 12 the day before, and they got big time. The Derby winner last year. I'm sorry, Sovereign. He did not run at Churchill, but there were horses that ran in last year's Derby that ran in some of the races beforehand.
Okay.
There were just great races all day. So if you like horse racing, I mean, you get the best of the best. Get full field, so it's good. You know, bigger the field, the better the odds.
Yeah.
So you like those things. A lot of people just like the event. You know, when you're drawing that many people, people are into the stories like first female trainer, or the fashion. You know, and all the Derby fashion and things like that. You know, you have all the star. Bill Belichick was there. Tom Brady was there. I mean,
was Bill Belichick's girlfriend there?
Yes, they were together. Yes, they were. I mean, you got all kinds of celebrities.
Yeah.
Barstool radio guy, Dave
Portnoy, yeah.
He had a horse in the Oaks the night before. He was there. So you got a ton of celebrities and things like that. People like to watch the celebrities. And
was Mike Vrabel there?
I don't know. Don't know. I'm staying away from that one. But, but there were a lot of celebrities I don't even know of. You know, like singers and things like that were there.
It's become kind of a hip thing to do all of a sudden, and I find that a little bit fascinating too. I mean, it was always a celebrity draw, but usually not young celebrities. It seems the young celebrities have fallen in love with coming to the Kentucky
even some
Derby.
of the podcasters, that's right. The influencers.
Yeah,
that's the
right.
new word, right? What the heck that
it.
means. Yeah. Some of the influencers. Yeah,
it means that for the next 6 minutes you can get somebody's attention, and thereafter you just become another pile.
Right. No, it's a huge event.
Yeah,
I like it because of the racing. It's the best. The best 2 days. That and the Breeders' Cup later on in October are the best 2 days in racing. I mean, that's just. You know, if you're a soccer fan, then you love the World Cup, right?
Absolutely.
And
it's a spectacle.
That's correct.
And the games are great.
And if you're, a horse racing fan, it's the Derby and the Breeders' Cup. That's what it's about.
Yeah. So what are the chances of this horse being one that can go and run the Triple Crown? Because it's a combination of the courses, the time, and the distance, the track distance.
Style doesn't look like a horse that could. It doesn't really fit the Preakness. They haven't determined if they're going to go. Remember last year's horse, Sovereignty, did not even go.
Right.
If it goes, just depends on who shows up. I mean, he's very dependent on because he lags behind a fast pace. You know, he lost his last 2 races before he got to the Derby.
Right.
So it's not like he's a lock to go out there. He's not Secretariat, I'll say that.
Yeah.
But we'll see. The Preakness is in 2 weeks, and as of right now, they haven't made that decision what to do. In fact, I don't know if anybody in that field is going to the Preakness. Preakness has lost some luster, and Churchill Downs has just bought the Preakness, the Preakness rights. And there's a large discussion if you move it back another week where you give horses 3 weeks rather than 2 weeks, you may draw more horses. I could see that happening.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, as an investment, you put a lot.
But nobody runs back in 2 weeks anymore.
Yeah,
that's
right.
old school. They used to. You come back in a week.
Yeah.
And now the training is so much different. You know, a lot of these horses are 4, 5, 6 weeks off. So to come back in 2 weeks, of course, that also is what makes it special. If you're going to win the Triple Crown, you got to go. It's supposed to be hard.
It's both a test of speed and skill and endurance because of the pace of the races together. Right. Anything else on the Kentucky Derby you can think of that stood out to you?
No, I mean, it was just like I said. I just wanted to mention the NBC deal and the ratings.
Yeah.
It's a big deal, and no, I enjoyed it. I wish I had the winner. It'd been nice, but I didn't.
I understand that if you got the trifecta in this one, it was a pretty good payout because of the odds of those 3 horses.
I think $5,900 for a 50-cent trifecta.
Yeah,
that's what I paid. If you box those 3, $5,900. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you nailed that, you were in really good shape.
Yeah, it's hard to hit that one.
Yeah, it is. All right, this is Brown Sports Bag presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. We'll be right back.
Welcome home to Local Sports with James Brown and the Brown Sports Bag on WCLU.
Well, John, the coaching carousel in high school basketball especially continues to spin around. And the latest person to find their horse was Brandon Combs, which honestly was a bit shocking to me. He had been previously, he was the boys' head coach at Warren East. He had been helping the girls over there a little bit and had been the athletic director, I think, for 6 years. He took over when Vincent became the principal, I think it was. And I didn't know if getting back into coaching basketball was the thing he was looking forward to. Of course, his son, I think, was a sophomore this year playing at Warren East, and I guess this has an effect on why he decided to take this Metcalfe County job. But, yeah, it kind of came out of left field as far as I was concerned.
Yeah, I'm happy for Brandon if that's what he wants to do. I mean, sometimes, he's still obviously young enough to do it. And, he when he took his real claim to fame coaching-wise was he had the success at Cumberland County.
Right, yeah.
Won a district at Cumberland County and had a really good team at Cumberland County. He left there and went to Warren East. And, listen, it's hard to win at Warren East when you're in that district with Bowling Green and Warren Central.
Yes, it is.
I mean, it's really, really hard. I mean, it's hard to keep your players.
Yeah.
And then he moved into the athletic director role and so forth, and came back and helped the girls and I thought he did a really good job as an assistant. You can kind of tell sometimes I thought he did a really good job, and maybe that itch is still there, and taking over, going back to a district where he had success and so forth, and just getting out of the rat race of maybe Bowling Green and so forth.
Right.
So I wish him the best in the world. I like Brandon a lot, and I'm fond of Metcalfe. That's where I got family members over in Edmonton and so forth. So wishing the best. But like every coaching job, you got to have players. And if you don't have enough players, then you're not going to win. But if you have players and can develop players and so forth, and you never know in today's time with players moving around here, there, or whatever. But it's I wish him the best. The Metcalfe. I do know that Metcalfe County likes their basketball.
Oh, yeah, they do. Well, and his first real taste as a coach was a student assistant under Tim McMurtry over there for, I think, 3 years.
Right.
And so, obviously, if there's anybody that's probably, when the job came open, I wouldn't have been surprised if Tim was like saying, hey, maybe we need to see if we can get him to come over here.
Yep.
And because obviously he's been a big fan of his for his coaching career. And Coach Combs, not a bad person to learn how to be a coach from, to coach under Coach Tim McMurtry over
absolutely
there.
Not. No, absolutely not. So I'm happy for him and hope it works out.
Yeah. Now, we still have a couple of job openings that I know of. We mentioned the ones that got filled last week with Brad Johnson taking the Greenwood girls' job, and, of course, Will McCoy moving from Greenwood to Franklin Simpson for the boys' job, which means now we still have a Greenwood boys position open. And the Taylor County girls' job is still open, which is shocking. I mean, with the talent they have coming back, you would think people would be banging down the door to try to get in on that job. Maybe they're just being selective.
I don't know. It's surprising.
Yeah.
I'll just say that. I don't know what to say. It's surprising.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Now, I guess the South Warren girls' job, as far as I know, is still open.
I think it's still open.
Yeah.
I'm not 100%. I hadn't heard much about it.
Yeah, and the Todd County girls' job is still open, as far as I know. So, I mean, there's still some in this fourth region that are open. That's a little bit surprising. We were gonna talk a little bit about the professional sports in the past segment, but we just decided to cut that out. So we'll talk about it real quick. Because we were talking about the NBA ratings part of this, and it kind of just struck me that we had 3 Game 7s in 2 days.
Which sport flops more, professional soccer or NBA players? I can't stand it anymore.
Well, I mean,
who's the greatest floppers?
I think the NBA's really gotten up there. They've taken on those international rules. You got your Euro steps and everything.
And European players, too.
And European players.
If you touch them, you're bumped. They flail their arms all crazy and complain to the officials when they don't get a call, but they're also flopping. In fact, I think Brown from the Celtics kind of went off on.
Jaylen Brown,
went off on
Joel Embiid.
Yeah, bad timing. You don't want to do that after you have a lead and then you lose the 7th game.
That's right.
I think what he said is probably right, but kind of bad timing.
Sounds like spoiled milk in a situation like that.
But soccer is just as bad.
Yeah.
I mean, you can carry them off on that little – they come out those little stretchers and And 2 minutes later, they're back out playing.
It makes me the soccer part makes me think of the seventh inning stretch things, and I don't know if this was the Philly Fanatic that used to do this. They had like the little mini golf cart ambulance thing,
Yeah.
and something would happen, and they could ride out there and pin them on it and then drive off.
Yeah,
that's what soccer makes me think.
And it takes away from it, I think.
It does, especially in both cases in basketball and soccer. You have unique skill levels, unique athletes in terms of their physical abilities and their just skill with a ball in their hands or at their feet. And so you would like to be able to marvel at the skill level and not spend so much time worrying about, like, that's a moving screen. That's an illegal dribble. That's he just threw the ball up in the air and flopped on the ground.
Right.
It really does kind of detract from the actual art of the game that's going on.
It does. And the flow, because the officials spend way too much long, going back to replays and checking to see if this is a flagrant or this or that. And just the constant bickering with officials in basketball and in soccer. Soccer gets it too.
Yeah. I think, they addressed this problem in baseball, in Major League Baseball, where the games were taking too long. There was too much extracurricular activity, not in the case of flopping, but in and out of the batter's box, in and off the pitcher's mound.
They fixed it.
They did. They fixed it, and the game is so much better.
Much better.
And I do think the NBA is going to have to address this problem because it's hard to watch the games.
I agree.
It's just, even when I like players or teams, I just can't watch the games.
Yep.
And so it's a real killer, but it's that momentum thing. That was the thing in baseball that was hurting them, was the pace of the game was
way
not
too slow.
fun.
And they fixed it.
Yeah. So they've got to fix that in the NBA. And then, interestingly, last year, they changed in the middle of the year how they were calling fouls and whatnot. But it did actually help the game because it sped up the pace of the game and the players adjusted to it. And I thought the end of last season and last year's playoffs were pretty good in terms of watching after they'd been bad for like 3 or 4 years.
Yep.
But they went right back this year.
Not the most exciting teams left in the playoffs, especially in the Eastern Conference. I mean, Philadelphia and the Knicks.
Yeah.
That's going to get a lot of national whatever.
Yeah.
And then you got Cleveland and Detroit. Boy, it's tough.
And no players that you know the names of.
That's tough.
Other than maybe Jalen Brunson for the Knicks.
Yeah,
I guess Joel Embiid.
Well,
for
the
76ers.
Kentucky fans know about Cat.
That's true. That's
Carl
true.
Anthony Towns.
Yeah, that's true. Meanwhile, the West is going to be a little bit wild because I think OKC is just clearly the best team once again.
I agree.
They've been the best team all year. They're the best team. People don't like watching Shai Gilgeous-Alexander play.
He's a great player. There's a lot, if you're a Kentucky guy, Kentucky fan, there's a lot of good Kentucky players. If you're Louisville, you got Donovan Mitchell.
That's right.
Maybe that's the only local stuff, around here is the Kentucky players and Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
Every team's got one, it seems like.
By the way, did you see who has the number 1 recruiting class for men's basketball next year?
I think it's the Cardinals.
It's Arkansas.
Okay, well, Louisville's right up there.
Yeah, I think they might be 3 or 4.
Yep.
Yeah, but I thought that was pretty fascinating when I saw that.
Well, that's not surprising. It's Arkansas.
Well,
but what's surprising is Louisville's so high, especially in the
man, he's been bringing some dudes in.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Anything else? Basketball, recruiting, horses, softball, baseball?
I think we covered the gambit this week.
We did. Next week I think it'll be time to start getting into some college baseball.
That's right.
We're getting real close to this tournament starting, and there's some really good teams out there.
SEC college softball is at Lexington this week.
That's right. Hey, if you like that, you should get up there and check that out. All right, it's the Brown Sports Bag presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. We'll be back next week.
You've been listening to the Brown Sports Bag on WCLU. Be sure to join James and John again next Monday at 4 for another edition of the Brown Sports Bag.